on the Iliad. The Greeks have been there for 9 years. They're still mad. They've decided not to go home. They're going to stay and fight some more for Helen. Troy is still Troy, big walled city that apparently is able to withstand 9+ years of siege. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I guess they have resources, let's say. Well, they have some gods on their side, so maybe that's it. Here we go with books 3 and 4. Alright, so the Greeks have returned to the plains in front of Troy, the walled city. And the Trojans have come out to meet them. Now, Hector has... Hector is another one of Priam's sons. He is probably Priam's favorite son, I would say. He's also supposedly the best warrior in Troy. You know, he's their Achilles. He's teasing his brother Paris, the one who got them into this trouble by taking Helen away, calling him a pretty boy and that kind of thing. And Paris decides, and he's like, hey, guys, I've got an idea. It only took me 9 years to come up with this, I guess. What if just I fight just Menelaus, since we're the ones who have beef, and whoever wins, and they can have Helen, and they can have all of the, the spoils of war, and wouldn't that just be, and everybody's like, well, yeah, that would be all. We could finish this war right now, today. We could be done. And so that's the plan. And word is sent to Priam. Priam, for whatever reason, has decided to sit this out. He's just staying in his city. I don't know. Is he really old at this point? Maybe. He's got a lot of kids, and they're all adults and married, so, this old king, I guess. But he's in Troy, and he's told this, and Helen is told this. In fact, I think Helen is told this by, it's Iris again, showing up this time as Helen's sister-in-law, right? One of Paris's sisters. Because I don't know, Iris likes to show up as relatives and stuff, and I'm like, does she just not like using her own form? Or maybe it's one of those things where it's oh, you can't look upon the god because that would be you would die from their natural form or whatever. I don't know, but Iris goes and tells Helen, Paris is gonna fight Menelaus one-on-one, so just so you know, and you're just gonna go to whoever wins. And Helen kind of gets homesick. She's like, oh, I wish I had just never left Greece, and I should have just... She also wonders where her twin brothers are, Castor and Pollux, who, by the way, are the twins in the Gemini constellation, because she doesn't know that they died back home in Sparta. They're not even there. She's just she's looking at all the, they're on the wall of the city, I guess, or they're looking out a window. I don't know, but she's looking at the amassed Greeks, and she's recognizing people, but she's like, I don't know where my brothers are. I wonder, maybe they're back by the ships, or, whatever. And it's no, she doesn't know. It's kind of sad. I'm like, Iris, you're right there. You couldn't bother to tell her brothers are dead? I don't know. So yeah. So, and Helen kind of gets homesick, and then Priam calls her over and is like, hey, who's that? She's like, that's Agamemnon. And he's like, who's that? She goes, oh, that's Odysseus. And then, even Antenor, I think, chimes in, because he's like, oh yeah, Odysseus came here with Menelaus when we were doing our initial negotiations, and he's not necessarily much to look at, but when he speaks, it's really powerful. Because he describes that Odysseus would, stand up and look at his feet and kind of not... He doesn't present as, some great speaker, but he's, when he actually talks, it's, I guess, impressive. And so then Paris... Or no, not Paris. Priam goes out to help... Before Paris and Menelaus fight, they have to do a sacrifice of, a bunch of sheep and whatnot, and Priam goes out in his chariot to do this, but he's like, I can't stay, I can't bear to watch So he goes back into Troy, I guess. And Paris and Menelaus fight. Paris is losing because, I mean, he is just kind of a pretty boy. He's really not much of a fighter. He gets a couple good jabs in, but and Menelaus is, getting the upper hand, and he's gonna win. And Aphrodite, who likes Paris because he gave her the golden apple, which is how he ended up with Helen, that whole story. Aphrodite comes down, shrouds Paris in kind of a invisibility cloak, right? A mist, a cloud, and puts him back in Troy. She's like, nope. It's like a game board. You're just like, no, this character's going here now. She's like, yeah, I'm not. I'm not willing to let him die. So she puts him back in Troy, and then she goes to Helen and it's like, hey, your husband's in the bedroom. Hey. And Helen's like still a little homesick and kind of irritated by this whole thing, by being like a pawn. And she's like, if you love him, the equivalent of, if you love him so much, Aphrodite, why don't you just marry him yourself? She's like, you can have him. And then Aphrodite gets really mad and is like, hey, you do not want me as an enemy, right? So Helen gets scared and goes off to see Paris, and, they do their thing in the bedroom, and the Trojans and everybody like, where'd Paris go? Like, they don't know what just happened. So Agamemnon's like, well, obviously Menelaus won then, because he's not even here, but Paris isn't even here, and like, it's very clear, I think, that Menelaus won, and we should be declared the winners, and then we can be done. So that's book 3, and then book 4 starts with the gods on Olympus, just hanging out, drinking nectar, watching the fight. It's fight night, right? And it's just like, hey, okay, this can be done now. Like, we can just let Agamemnon, let the Trojans can agree with Agamemnon. They can hand over Helen. We can send everybody home. Hera is pissed. She's like, I don't think so, because I spent a lot of time gathering all the people, all the Greeks, and getting their asses over here, because she's mad at Troy, because she's mad at Paris, because Paris did not consider her the fairest, right? She didn't get the apple. It's the same reason Athena's mad. Athena's like, yeah, I didn't get the apple either, so that's why they're on the Trojan side. And so Hera's like, yeah, no, I want Troy destroyed, okay? Nothing less will do. And Zeus is like, if I want to destroy a city sometime, like, if I let you destroy Troy, because I love Troy, he's like, but if I let you destroy it, then next time I want to destroy a city, you have to let me destroy it and not argue with me about it. And she's like, I won't lift a finger. Like, she loves Mycenae, Sparta, and Argos. Those are her 3 favorite cities. And she's like, but if you ever get mad at one of them and want to destroy it, I won't even say anything. I won't lift a finger. Just right. So Athena goes down. So just like, fine, they can keep fighting. Like, but we have to instigate, because that's what gods do. So Athena goes down and tricks the Trojan Pandarus, I think, but into basically taking a pot shot at Menelaus with an arrow. And so he looses an arrow, and it strikes Menelaus, and it goes through most of his armor, and it even gets to the flesh, right? And it looks bad. It goes through his belt, I think. So it looks kind of like an abdominal wound, I guess. And it's bleeding a lot. But Athena also turns around and stops the arrow from going any further. Like, she gets Pandarus to shoot the arrow, and then she real quick runs over and well, I mean, she's a goddess. She can do what she wants. She can move fast. She's like, and she stops the arrow from actually doing any serious injury. It just looks really bad. Agamemnon freaks the fuck out, and he's like, oh my god, if I lose you, like, you know, he can't even. He's like, after all this, if you die, like, what is this even for? We're gonna be the laughing stock of all history or whatever. And he sends for a doctor, and the doctor comes and is tending to Menelaus. He even, like, sucks blood out of the wound, and I'm like, with his mouth? I don't know, with his mouth? I don't know. It was kind of weird. So Agamemnon runs through the Greek troops, and he's like, come on, we're back to fighting. We're gonna do this. He even, like, Sussa. Okay. Side note. So, growing up in southern Louisiana, where we speak Louisiana French, when you get in trouble, a parent will hold up a finger and go, tu vois ça? You see this? I don't know what the finger's going to do. I don't know what... we don't... as kids, you don't know what that is, but you don't want it. So, when you say you've been sussud, it means you've been told, tu vois ça? So Agamemnon susses Odysseus, saying, you know, you coward, you're letting other people go first into battle. And Odysseus, like, reams him out, and Agamemnon's like, no, you're right, I'm sorry. Like, Odysseus is like, are you kidding me right now? Because excuse me. And, like, Agamemnon's like, nope, you're right, go, yep, you know. So Odysseus goes in. Ares is on Troy's side. He brings terror, panic, and conflict with him. Conflict is a goddess, by the way. Terror and panic, I think those are the moons of Mars, right? Deimos and... anyway, but, or Phobos, that's, yeah, fear and panic, yeah. But conflict is a goddess that he brings along. And Athena is obviously on the side of the Greeks. Apollo is also on the Trojan side. He's, you know, so he's urging the Trojans into fighting. And he reminds everybody, hey, Achilles isn't even here, so what are you worried about? Just, you know, go fight. Because you don't really have anything to worry about at this point. And so that's how book 4 ends. I found a typo while reading. It was when they were doing the sacrifice. I guess this must have been in book 3 when they were sacrificing the sheeps. It was like they sliced the sheep's throats, but it was SHEEP''S. So I'm like, one sheep with many throats. Interesting, because the apostrophe should have been after the final S. Many sheeps, each one with one throat. It's a small thing, but I do feel like some of the knowledge of editing and proofreading is disappearing from society, and since that was my bread and butter, and I still do it freelance, I notice when I'm like, either somebody missed this or you had an editor or proofreader who's not good at their job. Maybe hire me next time, guys. In any case, that's where we leave book 4. I will continue reading and giving you Iliad story times throughout, but I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, take care.